Good afternoon, dear subscribers of my channel. I was very optimistic about the year 2025. Interest rates are going down. Real estate was supposed to look good. But we have encountered the first problem. It's an economic problem. Now we have another problem. Our neighbors, the Americans, seem to be in a state like this, as we call it the buying mall, where they would like to take over several countries with or without the government's permission. So I would like to talk to you about this topic today. As they say, thinking out loud. Let's discuss how realistic this is and what will happen if one of the future President Trump's plans actually comes to fruition. So let's not waste any time and discuss this interesting topic that will leave no one untouched. Trump is very actively talking about wanting to expand the borders of his country. Many regions. One of them is Panama, the second is Greenland, and the third. This is our country, to be honest. At the beginning I thought it was just talk. But lately, when I listen to him when he gives press conferences, talks to reporters, it is very clear that he is not joking at all. I still think this tactic is to play the good negative guy, but anyway. But he's very interested in the Panama Canal, very interested in Greenland, and he's also interested in our country. First of all, I would like to say a few words. As for the Panama Canal, it's really a bit of a controversial issue, where we could give the Americans the opportunity to take it over. Because after all, if we look at history, they started building it. The French couldn't finish it. The Americans took over this project and completed it. After they finished this project, they handed it over to this country. But today, more and more control over this canal is being taken over by the Chinese. And of course, the Americans don't like that. So, his goal, if everything works out, to take over this canal and gain control over it. The second reason, of course, is that a huge number of ships pass through there. Can you imagine how much he could charge there? Additional taxes. Well, when we talk about Trump, he always has one theme, and that's taxes. And he's trying to use these taxes to save the country now, to pull it out of this terrible debt situation. And that Panama Canal would be, of course, a very, very interesting project for the Americans, out of this terrible debt. And this Panama Canal would be, of course, a very, very interesting project for the Americans. The second country that the Americans have set their sights on is Greenland. On one hand, you might think, what's so interesting about it? There are only 55,000 people living there. That's the entire population. Secondly, it's very cold there. But for the Americans, it's a strategic location. They want to protect themselves from the Chinese, from Russia, and that's very important to them. But this country belongs to Denmark. And here the question arises, how will they be able to take or make Greenland belong to America? But I think they have their methods. We already have a history. How do they do that? If we think back to Texas, Texas also used to belong to Mexico. But what did the Americans do? They held a referendum. Texas broke away from Mexico and became sort of an independent country. Well, of course, shortly after they became independent, they joined America. They can do the same thing with Greenland. I think they can use the same method. And Greenland, they will simply make a very good offer. After all, there are 55,000 people there, and it's very easy to convince them, make them some good deal, and they will definitely agree. Moreover, Denmark doesn't allow mining there. There are a lot of valuable minerals, well, because of the environment and so on. Well, the Americans will most likely make them a good deal. Well, we also can't forget that, besides being in an interesting location, they seem to say, as I mentioned, that it's important to protect themselves from Russia or to defend against China. Actually, these are valuable minerals. It's very important for the Americans to get this country, since there are a huge amount of valuable minerals there, and they can do the same thing. They will negotiate with the people, hold a referendum, and after the referendum, the people will officially refuse Denmark becoming independent. And then they will ask the Americans. So the Americans can very easily and simply take over another country, to make their country even richer as far as valuable minerals are concerned. And now I would like to say a few words regarding our country. Donald Trump has mentioned several times that he wants to take over Canada. He wants to make us one country. And he's trying again to show the Canadians that this will be very beneficial. And our taxes are increasing every year. If we really become part of America, it will be a big plus for a huge number of people in Canada, as far as taxes are concerned. Of course, the American president will never come up with the idea of taking over our country by military means. He will do it economically. He will impose such taxes that we simply won't be able to survive. I don't know if you watched it or not, but the latest press conference, he officially says he doesn't need our wood, he doesn't need our milk, he doesn't need our meat. We can do all of this in America. He doesn't need the cars we make, because about 20% of cars are made in Canada. He says we can make them just as well in Detroit. It seems from all sides that he wants to economically force our country to do what he wants. Donald Trump has one very important assistant who has so many capabilities, whom I honestly think there isn't a single person in this world who can match. It's Elon Musk. You know, when he bought Twitter, many of my colleagues on the left, the liberals, were a bit amused by it, thinking how stupid he is, like how could he buy Twitter? Most advertisers will run away because they don't like him, especially since the media is against him. In the end, it goes bankrupt, when you see it in the short term. But when you look at it long term, this person knew what he was doing. He bought Twitter, and for him, it's the most important tool today. It's number one, the news channel in the world. Honestly, I'll tell you, every day when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is check Twitter, or X, as it's called now, to see what happened in the world, because there you get up-to-date information. It's unfiltered, and you know exactly what happened and what we should expect today. And when I was talking to my colleagues, I asked them too, have you noticed how many businesses Elon Musk has? If you think he's stupid, then I have a question for you. How many rockets have you sent into space? How many electric cars have you built? If you look at how many businesses he's involved in, it's honestly hard to explain. And to be honest, it often amazes me. How does he manage to be on X so much? He posts a tweet every 15-20 minutes. I'm asking, how does he do it? Most likely, maybe he's using his own program that writes for him, or thinks for him, or somehow presents it. But anyway, what I want to say is, what Trump has is the perfect tool. This is his assistant, Elon Musk. I'm even surprised at how he manages to interfere in other countries. And I'm not surprised that the European Union is trying to go against this right now, because he is unregulated. No one can stop him. He can write whatever he wants. He wants to make serious changes in England. Well, it really wouldn't hurt to make some changes there. They punish the innocent while the guilty go free. But that's a different topic. There will be elections in Germany now. The German coalition has collapsed. There will be new elections, and he gets involved there. He wants to do an interview with one of the leaders of that party. On one hand, I think it's too much. He is interfering in other countries. Sometimes when he gets involved, I actually like it. But I think this guy just has too much power, and I don't know where it will land. But as of today, I still like his policies and his way of thinking. As for our country, we have another problem. Of course, you all know that our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has given up. After immense pressure, he could no longer stay in his seat and officially stepped down from his position. Right now, we don't even have an official government because he dissolved Parliament. What does this mean for us? In the next couple of months, we don't even know who will be talking to the Trump administration. Of course, Trump can take advantage of this. And when Trump announced that he would like to take over Canada and make it happen, in the 51st state, Justin Trudeau wrote a tweet. I would like to show it to you in Excel and look at the reaction or response. In this tweet, Justin Trudeau officially states that Canada will never be a part of America. And so convinced that later, if you look at how Elon Musk responded to him, he called him a girl and said that you are no longer the governor of this country and that no one cares. What are you saying? What do I mean by that? Thanks to Elon Musk, of course, Trump now has a lot of power, as he can convey his thinking through this platform. How much longer will they stay friends? I don't know, but as of today, they really don't separate. They are always together, wherever Trump is. Elon Musk is always around, so let's see how this will end. What I would like to say in conclusion, I don't think Canada will ever really be a part of America. On one hand, if people ask me whether I would want that or not, yes, there are some positive points, but on the other hand, Americans have also made a mess everywhere. Before Justin Trudeau came to power, Canada had a very good image. Wherever you went, you spoke from Canada, you were always welcomed, people respected you because this was a country that never interfered in anything. Unfortunately, thanks to our current Prime Minister, he has really tarnished that image. Indeed, a huge number of countries have lost respect for our country. But on the other hand, I'm sure that if we have elections now, and we have the right party in power again, we will likely get that good image back. But being a part of America, there's another thought here. That's the thought that you probably know, Kevin and Larry. Many people know this man. He is a very successful businessman. He is also involved in the show Shark Tank. I'm sure you've seen that show too. Since we currently have, you could say, no government, and there's no one to go talk to Trump in the administration because he can't even stand Trudeau. He has no chances, zero chances of talking to him. They won't make any deals with him. They call him a lame duck. So for them, he's no longer a negotiation partner. Kevin Larry took a bit of this into his own hands. He was already with Trump, he talked to him. And his goal, of course, is to create this North American Union. And to be honest, I might not be against it because the idea isn't bad. Why? Because if there is a North American Union between us, first of all, there will be no borders. We can move from America to Canada and from Canada to America without any problems. Secondly, we will have one currency. Well, there will be an American currency, nothing wrong with that. I'm sure it won't be Canadian currency. it would be the American currency. We will probably have one passport, but no matter what, we are still Canadians, not Americans. We have our own laws, and they have their own laws. We have our own elections, they have their own elections. On this side, we will still be different. But this concept of the North American Union, I find it very interesting. I would actually be all for it. In conclusion, I would like to discuss 3 scenarios that could happen. We won't talk about Panama, the Canal, or Greenland. Well, this won't affect us much, whatever happens. We will be talking about Canada. The first scenario, we will really become part of America. I won't even talk about that. That's the question. That won't happen. The second option, this is the North American Union. I think this option is possible. What will this mean for us? I think it would be good for Canadians. I think our economic situation will be better. As for taxes, it will be more positive for us. Overall, I think from all sides, if we talk about the Canadian lifestyle, what will life be like here? Will it change for the better or for the worse? I think it will reflect very positively on us. In the end, Canadians will run to America, or Americans will run to Canada. I don't know, but I don't think Americans will really want to run to Canada. So, it's very hard to speculate on how this will affect real estate. But as a project, I think it will be positive for our country. The third option is if we remain Canada and have nothing to do with America. And Americans will indeed introduce additional taxes. I don't know what will happen to us, but we will have a huge economic problem. It will affect all areas of our lives. So I think it's very important so that our Canadian government can get together as soon as possible and start talking to the Americans. The problem, as I said, is that we don't really have a leader right now who can talk to the Americans. And instead of helping in this situation, he is actually making it worse. We urgently need elections. It's very important that we start talking to them as soon as possible. If we don't come to an agreement, we have a serious problem. I would be very interested to know your opinion. So please write in the comments what you think about this. Would you like to be part of America or not? Would you like to be part of the North American Union or not? Everyone has their own opinion, but I'm really curious about what my followers think on this topic. That's all for now. I wish you all the very best. Until next time in the Canadian virtual world or the American one, I still don't know. But this was Victor Scheffer with you.
Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it helpful. We would be happy if you share it with your friends and acquaintances.
Follow us on Facebook versus Financial Group and on YouTube versus Solutions. Financial Group and YouTube versus Solutions.
If you're interested in getting a mortgage or need insurance, fill out the form on our website viasolutions.ca.
Contact us by phone at 1-877-282-0904 or write to us in the Safe AP at viasolutions.ca.
Enjoy life today, and indeed, we'll create a successful tomorrow for you.